All right, we are live there. Let me go through the motions right quick. Live. Let me share this on X. We are live. Oh man, I just put it in all. We are live. There we go. I'll post it. Okay, that's that. Let me make sure. What's good, y'all? Hey, salute to y'all, man. Give me 1 second. I just got to do one more thing here, and I should be good to go. Give me 1 second, y'all. I appreciate y'all coming through. I'll get to the chat in just a second. Just trying to situate this. This is the city. And live. All right, good to go. Let me make sure. I missed that from the homie. All right, let's get to it, man. What's good? What up, y'all? What up, y'all? Let's get to it. Fear God in the building. We are out here. Blake Malpass, Lenny. What up, Lenny Stilo? Doink in the building. Daniel's out here. Tyrone Turner. What up, man? Anthony, what's going on? Thank God you just went live. I'm out here struggling on Cardo. Now you can distract me. I know the vibes, man. I was so like I didn't want to go today. And you know, I recorded today's video and saying, man, you know what? This is what separates us, man. It's what separates the men from the boys. We go on them days where you don't even want to go. Where it's like the last thing you want to do. You say, man, you know what? You got goals in mind and you gotta reach them. And when you got goals you want to reach, you working when everybody else is complacent. Salute to you, man. What up, Mimic? Mr. Word to God, what up? All right, let's see what else is out here. Let's see what else is out because we got a lot. We could go over a lot. You know, if you didn't watch today's video as of yet, we still got some stuff that we can do and talk about. What up, YMZ in the building, gaming and some beers. Hell yeah, RJ, what up, man? If 21 and older, bro. Thank God. Oh yeah, I read that. Tryouts. It might happen later this evening. I'm not gonna be the one hosting it though. I think All City Slim might be the one hosting it. We out here. We out here. All right, man. Let's get to it, man. Let's get to it. So as you guys know, we went through we dropped this bombshell and it was a revelation for a lot of players. And you know, we got some folks that feel like maybe the community is naive. I do want to make clear that everything we talked about over the last couple of days, it's commonplace in gaming as far as developers owning the assets that you guys purchase. I think the reason why it's most concerning to 2K players is because of what we experience on a year-to-year basis. So we are already experiencing the grimy of the grimiest, or the grimiest of the grimy. At least that's how we feel. You never know if you're gonna load up and your animations are gonna be there. We're dealing with a game that doesn't feel like AAA, is what I'm getting at. But yet their sales say they're AAA. Development doesn't say they're AAA. It surely doesn't. I ain't gonna front. If you know, don't get me wrong. If you look at a My Career game, wow, that game looks amazing. Right, it looks amazing. Looking amazing is not what makes a game AAA. You need to have fluidity in the mechanics. It needs to be intuitive. You know, half the problems in 2K, the 2K community resolves, it's not the 2K devs that resolve them. We the ones who figure out how to join our friends when the game launches and the mechanic is broken. We the ones who do that. We the ones who find out how to go into Pro-Am and still find games. We the ones who learn about that. I think all the glitches and all the things that the 2K community has to do, like if you want to change your animations, you got to leave the rec center, go out, let it go through the save, and then go back in. We the ones who figured that out. It's not 2K. That's not. I don't think AAA titles are supposed to function in this way. I could be wrong. If you guys feel differently, let me know. I could definitely be wrong, but there's something weird that's happening with 2K. So I think the bigger issue here is that when 2K players, like I said, mentioned earlier, we want to believe that there's a wholesome quality to gaming. But it's funny that when we read the terms of service that every 2K player has already accepted, like I mentioned in today's video, we just read the black and white that's already been in process. There's going to be new terms of service coming February 28th, but we read the black and white. And it's like, damn near nobody knew. The video is pushing 300,000 views since yesterday. I posted a short form just covering the basics on Twitter. If you guys haven't followed me on Twitter, you should follow me on Twitter. My handle is right below me right there, or on X rather. So, and man, there was so many people who kept saying, I'm done with 2K consistently. It was like the good majority of the people who responded was like, I'm done with this, because they really had no idea that this was what was happening. And then when you read it in black and white and say, oh, that's 2K. It's different when it's 2K. You feel what I'm saying? I think that's what folks ain't realize. What up, Vice? What up, y'all? Certified Ghost? What's good, Hoax? I think it's different for 2K players because of the company we're dealing with and what we've been dealing with over the last few years. And I don't want to play victim here. I'm not trying to play. We have an option to just let the game go, right? But 2K is the one who cornered this market, so we have no alternatives. They did the right move for business. They cornered the market. Okay, salute to you. But come on, if you're going to corner the market, don't deprive your player base. Do y'all hear me on that? If you're going to corner the market, make sure you're bringing your freaking A game every single time, because we're not paying less money for for limitations in development is what I'm getting at. If we were paying $35 for a game that's in beta, if we were paying $29.99 or $24.99 for 2K, we probably wouldn't have that much of an issue. But the fact is, we're paying full price for a game that oftentimes feels like it's in beta. And then we find out all of these error codes and, you getting banned or losing your animations, losing your tattoos, losing virtual items. We come to find out that 2K is not liable. You know, one of the biggest responses that I received from you guys, one of the biggest responses that I received from y'all when the servers were down was, we need to be reimbursed. And I'm not laughing at y'all, because I feel like it's a legitimate thought process, but it's also an ignorant thought process, because we just didn't know that in the terms of service we already signed, it says they're not liable for error codes. They don't even, let's put it up, man. Don't let me tell it. Let 2K tell it, because it's right in their terms of service. Don't let me be the bad guy talking ish here. I'll let 2K tell it. Let me see if we could pull it. Is it under virtual items? I think it was under some. Let me double check the warranty here. Let me see this. Oh yeah, here we go. Yeah. Let 2K tell it for y'all. Here we go. I'll let 2K tell it, man. I don't need to tell it for 2K. It says it right here. Let's lock this so I can see what I'm looking at. To the fullest extent permitted by applicable law, the services are provided to you as is, as available, and with all faults. Right off rip. Right off rip. But that's not all. That's not all, y'all. Neither Take-Two, any digital storefront, nor any of our or their respective officers, directors, managers, employees, agents, or licensors make any representations, warranties, promises or guarantees of any kind whatsoever. As to the software, content, third-party services, please hear what I'm saying here, y'all, because I'm not just reading for nothing. It says, whether express or implied, statutory or otherwise, neither Take-Two nor any digital storefront warranty that the services or third-party services will be accurate or reliable. Their services or third-party services, neither one are guaranteed to be accurate or reliable. And they're telling you that right off rip. That's not all. Uninterrupted, timely, secure, error-free, or free of viruses. They basically telling you if you get a virus downloading 2K, they are not liable to the fullest extent permitted by your local law. Take-Two and each digital storefront disclaim any implied warranties, including for non-infringement, and that's the rest is nonsense. But I thought it was interesting that they straight tell you, man. One of the biggest complaints is all these error codes, and a lot of people, they instantly think reimbursement. Why? Because we pay a pretty penny for this stuff. I think that's mainly why folks immediately think money, because there's something that you sacrifice to be on 2K. There's something financially that you sacrifice to be on 2K. So that's why I think a lot of us immediately think money. And if it's not you, so be it. Maybe you're just well off, but there's a lot of folks that sacrifice just to get the game in the first place, let alone keep up with the money you have to spend on a monthly basis to compete. Let's get to the chat, man. Tyrone Turner says, salute AC, the reporter of the people. Appreciate that, man. Vice Envy, I think the player base needs to have 2K sign a TOS moving forward. You see what I'm saying? One thing I learned during this whole process over the last 24 to 48 hours is this just not a 2K problem, yeah. Although other companies don't come across like 2K, there's plenty that do, but the good majority of the other companies don't come across like 2K. And another thing is that they get called out by their player base ASAP. Anybody up and coming new, you can't lead with microtransactions. You cannot lead. That player base will shut you. That following will shut your whole game down before it even comes up. You're going to be forced to make some changes. It's happened a few times over in different games. So these other player bases, they don't experience the level of aggression that sports gamers experience, and the developers ain't nearly as aggressive for that matter. 2K, they just continue to get more and more aggressive, and it's a turnoff. It's off-putting. And then on top of that, over the last few years, that's been the topic of conversation for a few years now already. It's pay to play, it's pay to win. Am I capping? Hasn't that been the topic of discussion? I'll say it's been a major topic of discussion for a few years now. And with that, still the community didn't know anything about the terms of service. We didn't know, mind you, that terms of service that I read today, that was last updated January 29th. We're going to get new terms on February 28th. So I don't know if they just added that stuff in January 29th. I'm not 100% sure. But I know other gaming developers had this stuff. And when you're a player on those games, you don't even think twice because you never feel like you're being taken advantage of. You feel what I'm saying? Like you rarely, if ever, feel like that. I don't know I'm sure there's games that make you feel like 2K, but I can say, like, I just finished Cyberpunk. I just had this whole playthrough on Cyberpunk. Never once did I have to even consider the idea of spending more money on Cyberpunk. Never once. The whole playthrough, one of the dopest experiences in gaming, period. If you guys haven't done it, you might want to do it. And then here we go with mediocre experiences with each annual cycle. And we feel like we're getting taken advantage of. The good majority of the people up until this point, up until yesterday, didn't even know that in the terms of service, they say, hey, you don't own none of that, bro. Your account, your VC, you don't own none of that, bro. So I think if anything, the best The best thing is that we brought awareness. Like there's a certain level of awareness now. Uh, Over a quarter million people found out yesterday that the terms of service has within it right now that 2K is not liable for any virtual items. And I think a lot of us understand that, to the sense like when you purchase digital music, it's not yours, you don't own it. I think we get that stuff. Like there's copyright, things like this. So I think a lot of us get that. But I think the 2K community is a little extra worried because we all been through a scenario where 2K took something from our account. A lot of us, I'll say a lot of us been through a scenario playing 2K where one day you had something in your account and the next day you didn't. For me, it was custom shoes. I enjoyed making custom shoes for years. I would always have different custom shoes. But it so happened multiple times over on particular updates, or whether I delete the game and reinstall it, I lose all my custom shoes. I didn't stress it. I didn't put in no 2K ticket. But it felt like, as a player, it just comes with the territory of playing 2K. And that's a bad thing. I think there's a bigger issue in gaming. And it's unfortunate because there's that wholesome quality is that joint going away by the day. That joint is gone. We know we don't own these virtual items. I think a lot of us are grown enough to understand that we don't own these. We ain't gonna freaking take a 2K bike and go outside and they're like, yo, you holler at me, yo, I got a new bike, B. Nah, we understand we don't own that, but we expect to be secure in the items that we purchase. And when we read black and white, when we read the black and white, the fine print, and I'll tell you this, if you pull up, I have the terms of service linked in the latest video I just uploaded. So if you guys want to pull it up yourself, you can see it for yourself. But what I mean to say is that it's not only fine print, because when a lot of people hear fine print, they think it's like some small text that's out the way. And this stuff is in bold letters, like right in your grill under the terms of service. And we still didn't know about it. Crazy stuff. What up, Agent Q? Fear God said, what up, Jamaican? If 2K was free to play, this wouldn't even be a problem. It's the fact that we paid money for a game we can't play. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. I feel the same way. Fear God said, I think what they need to do is not make two games that take time, but make one game only. And I hear that argument often. And I think we're cutting 2K a little bit too much slack. I'll give you a perfect, for instance, so we can understand the grand scope of 2K. They're not limited they're not in need for anything. Like that's how much money they making. Their contract alone, what was it? $1.1 billion for the licensing agreement with the NBA. They got 2 more years on that licensing agreement. I imagine that's gonna double or triple for the renewal of that licensing agreement. So the licensing agreement alone is $1.1 billion. That's to help you guys understand the scope of how much money 2K is banking in. And the reason why I'm mentioning that is because, like Fear God said, I think they just don't need to make 2 games. Maybe they're stretched too thin. Nah, B. Nah. I give them no sympathy. They got money to buy a whole new building and put a whole new development team, which is what they did. They put Hook Bang into Visual Concepts Austin. They built a whole new building. If I'm not mistaken, they built a whole new building, or they took over a building. And they put Visual Concepts Austin in there, formerly known as Hook Bang. Hook Bang used to work with 2K on creating, different aspects of the game. So, that's what I mean to say. They're not lacking for anything, so I don't sympathize with them. Anything that we feel needs to take more time, they could just hire more people, period. We get this half developed game each year, and the game is not even fully flushed out on release, but ironically gets fully flushed out like 6 months in. And it's almost like they don't even know what's going to be the end result of their game. That's 2 years in a row. 23 and 24 both turned out to be 2 very different games. than what we got at release. Feels like we are paying 2K a 70. See what I'm saying? Vice Envy said, feels like we are paying 2K a $70 yearly membership fee. Put that into context, y'all. Put it into context. Aren't they working on 2K Tennis now? I think so, yeah. Yeah, I heard they bought it. They should let you carry over one build. Hey, wouldn't that be like a great olive branch to the 2K community? Do you guys think that'd be cool? I'll get to the comments. I'll get to your comments. Wouldn't that be cool if 2K offered an olive branch? Like, hey, you could bring that one build over, man. What up, Dykeman? Coach K all day say the game is $70. Anything invested after that is your own fault. If they don't fix the problem that makes it unplayable for you, don't spend any more money. It only affects the diehards like us. And this facts, man. Here's the dilemma, y'all. And I try to be very real with it, especially any scenario that I've personally been through myself, like with 2K last year. I was consistently creating builds to hopefully generate a new experience, a more enhanced experience. So I create this build. What ended up happening is I was creating multiple builds, trying to generate fun because I wasn't having as much fun as I would have liked to on the builds that I had. So I would create another one, and then I create another one. Till it got to a point where, like, yo, I done made every position, and the fun lasts maybe 2-3 days, probably a week, and then you're going through the same goofy stuff as with your old build that you gave it up for. Like, you gave up on some more money for a new build to get rid of the experience you was having, but come to find out, almost like it was inevitable that when you bring your new build out, it's gonna do things amazing, and then as you build him up, the spark fades and you're no longer having fun on it and you're experiencing the same goofy stuff, almost like that was written into the coding. So weird. It's conspiracy type thinking, but if I gotta say, that's what it's not good for us to feel like that as players, is what I'm getting at. And it wasn't just me. You feel what I'm saying? Like, it's not just me. There's a lot of people feeling the same exact way. And that's why I end up deciding to speak on these things, because I find out that a lot of people share my sentiment. I'm not bugging. You feel what I'm saying? So, man. Let's get to the chat. Englewood. Salute to Englewood, by the way. Let me see if his first one. You read the changes to this agreement, the TOS, they tell you that they reserve the right to change at any time. That's absolute facts. Englewood was the one who was telling us yesterday that this is commonplace. Also, check out Englewood, Chicago. What is it, Englewood? You could put your Twitter in there, because I'm going to talk about it in another video, I think. Considering this topic extends, I'll reference the idea of what Englewood had posted on his Twitter, where multiple gaming developers follow suit, just like with the terms of service that 2K introduced us to. Hey, yo, City fam. All I can say is save your money, kiddos. That was Peggy Thornton. Yep. Save your money. It is ironic, though, like D-Ree said, I bought the game in October. This TOS wasn't there. Now I can't play after February 28th. Make it make sense. I think that's a legitimate argument. By the way, in today's video, I explained to you guys how to opt out of this new terms of service. If you guys don't, first you got to accept the terms of service, otherwise you can't get on. So that was like, I meant to mention that in today's video. You still, even if you don't accept them, like even if you intend to opt out, you have to accept it and then send in your opt-out notice if you want to play 2K. Lord knows the complications. As messy as 2K is, Lord knows the complications you're going to go through attempting to opt out. I would love to hear someone go through the experience. I don't think it's going to be me, though. What if 2K doesn't have any more passion in making good? Well, I'll tell you this. Just Jeffrey, I'll tell you this. I'm a creator, and I've expressed this before. I'm a creator, like, started out with graffiti. Graffiti led me to graphic design led me to photography. I've always been an artist, creative mind. If someone was telling me how to create Let alone these folks go to school for this stuff. They spend years invested so that they can you imagine a gaming developer in college thinking of like the limitless possibilities of the game he's going to end up creating and becoming successful? What I'm getting at here is that business has so deeply infiltrated gameplay development, they're no longer creators. You get what I mean to say? So you take any artist and you force him to create, he's not going to be nearly as creative and he's going to get exhausted way sooner. Maybe it could be that. It very well could be that. They probably are exhausted, but for what reason? I think that'll drain anybody. And by the way, these developers work endless amounts of hours, in case you guys don't know. It ain't like these guys got dream jobs. They're working men just like you and I. So they work endless amounts of hours and always overtime, always like pushing doubles and stuff like that. And it helps. I'm helping you guys to get a better perspective on what it looks like over there. There's a bunch of workers, and then you got the big dog saying, "Hey, make this happen. Hey, we need to. These were the sales. These were the. This is the amount of revenue we made or microtransactions we had last year. This year, we want to surpass that." Now, you imagine if you've been a part of any corporate business or in a corporate office, you know how this works. A lot of y'all know how this works. There's a meeting for damn near everything. So when they come up, when marketing comes up and has that P&L and says, all right, this is what we made last year. For our 5-year goals, we need to be here this year. They're pulling everybody into these meetings. I imagine there's speculation, but I imagine, I doubt it'd be because I've been through so many different businesses and they've, at their core, they function very similar. So I imagine 2K will be doing the same thing. If I delete build, I should definitely get all my VC back from that player. Wishful thinking, ain't it? You think legitimate business it'll be like that. It should be easy, especially considering it's virtual currency, right? Like a lot of us, it's crazy because 2K wants to make it real and limit their liability and emphasize that these are virtual items when it comes to liability. But when it comes to your IRL money and getting a refund, now it's like, nah, bro, nah, you pay, B. It's so ironic to me. There's something fishy going on because I can't understand. They just went through that lawsuit. And from what I understand, it turned into a class action lawsuit. That was in November. And then the terms of service that I read to you guys clearly says, if you accept these terms, well, under these terms, not if you accept these terms, under the terms in TOS right now, you cannot have a class action lawsuit or any type of collective action held against 2K. Oh man, wild stuff, y'all. And I wish it was different. And I think listen, I'm gonna keep it a buck, and I'm gonna say this just to have it on record. What's today? February 3rd, 2024. This is not an issue solely based in 2K. There needs to be more regulations in the gaming industry because they're making big money. Like individual people are spending a lot of money. And I would even make the argument that is more money than any other entertainment avenue. I would even make that argument. But yet they're flying under this radar like as if they're small potatoes. It's almost like they're getting the benefits of small business and tax breaks, that a larger corporation in a different avenue of business would have to take on. That's how it feels. And I think it's due time. Like the consumers got to stand up and say, hold on a second, bro. Think about it. Think about it for 1 second. The reason why they're going through a class action lawsuit, or at least the class action lawsuit started in November, was because somebody's kid had money invested in an older 2K. And that kid must have came crying to his mom, and his mom said, nah, B, it ain't going down. We taking a stand. And filed that lawsuit. It's predatory. And what I'm getting is that if you could put yourself in that situation, like if you could see the scenario, if you could imagine the scenario where your kid comes to you, you're reading a book on the couch, chilling after work, and your kid comes to you, you're thinking peace in your home. You get what I mean to say? You're not expecting to get robbed in your home. You keep your home safe, you keep your home secure, and then boom, your kid comes to you and he's been taken advantage of by this system that's in place. I think that's probably what led to the lawsuit was the principle behind it. The principle behind is that there's a system that's predatory. And there seems to be very limited regulations on this system. But yet they're pulling in money. They're pulling in money like the biggest drug dealers in the world. And I don't mean to relate gaming to drug dealing outside of just the type of money that they're bringing in. Some got to change. You any other business that generates that amount of money usually gets and deals with consumers usually gets regulated. But when we read the terms of service, it just seems like complete like limited liability. Or for that matter, the terms of service pretty much say eliminate liability. That kid mom go down as the GOAT and the saver of 2K. Facts, young guapo. Facts. Need to bring that mom on the next cover, on the next crossover episode. That mom needs to be on the cover of the next 2K. That's what their mom needs to be. She need to be on the cover of the next 2K. I'll put it on the 30. All right, maybe that's better. We can get to the chat though. What's predatory about it? It's at your own risk. What's predatory about it, in case you guys are ignorant to this stuff, and I'll help explain it because I was playing 2K and that's like just because you have a choice doesn't mean that there's no psychological ramifications that lead you to making that choice. You get what I mean to say? So, for instance, I'll give you guys an understanding of this stuff. The reason why 2K is popular in particular is the only sports basketball game. They cornered the market so that nobody comes up. Now, hear me out here because there's more to this story. I've watched 2K change up their ways where they once prioritized development and now it seems more so like they prioritize persuading people to generate microtransactions. So I'll give you for instance, this is why it's predatory because I saw the whole development happen. There was once upon a time on 2K that we all could go out and play the game not needing any boosts. You could still be super effective. Everything was perfectly fine. Over the years, what 2K has done was almost like a drug, made your player play less effectively. Hear me out here. Your player is less effective without boosts. It used to not be like that. Just so you guys understand it. Although we have a choice, there's systems in place, like a casino, that put your player at a deficit. So in the long run, what 2K does is pretty much base odds. They'll generate an environment that's conducive to generating more microtransactions. And they've gotten way more aggressive in their approach on how they in turn get you guys to, commit to a microtransaction. And it used to be all fun and games before. This is what I'm getting at, seeing the evolution of this process. So it's predatory because they're messing, not to mention, they play on our competitiveness. They corner the market, so your only option is this. And if folks want to, if you played any basketball throughout your life, I grew up playing basketball mainly. So the idea of having a video game to play basketball, that's something that a lot of us are going to try to live vicariously through. And for that reason, they play on a competitive spirit where we want to compete. And that's exactly what happened with the 2K community. It used to be frowned upon to buy boosts. because of our competitive spirit, everybody wanted the competitive edge. So naturally, like a virus, it just spread through the 2K community. And now we're at a point where the good majority of folks buy boosts. It's almost like you're obligated to buy boosts, and it's become commonplace that your player is going to be limited at what he can do without it. So, I have an answer for this stuff, and we could talk some dialogue because I know a lot of people are ignorant to the process. They just don't know what had happened. You're just thinking naturally, if you're not a gamer, you haven't grown with 2K, you're thinking, what is he talking about? They could make a choice not to buy it. They could make. I get that. Everybody does have a choice. But like a casino, and I'm not a betting man, and I'm still using this analogy, there's something about it that kind of, the house is always going to win, bro. And if I was 2K, I would make sure the house wins as well. But I wouldn't make it so obvious that I was being so predatory, is what I'm getting at. Let somebody win every now and then. You get what I mean to say, is what I'm getting at. Let somebody win every now and then. I feel like they did this because their lawyer said that they could be sued for closing older 2Ks and locking people out of their stuff. Well, that's what happened. They were sued exactly because of that. That was in November. And in January, we had the new terms of service. If enough noise is made, it can affect the company. Bad press can cause shareholders to sell stock, or all depends on how bad the news and if it affects the bottom line. I honestly don't feel like this is big enough. Listen, in other games, it's the community that creates the change. They were loud enough. They do get together. Just so you guys know, this is real life. One of my favorite games that I just finished, Cyberpunk, that's what happened with them. Starfield going through the same thing. There's plenty of games that try to come up in development and start the microtransaction phase in alpha. Like they're in alpha, they're not even fully flushed out yet, and they're already trying to generate microtrans. That's how predatory is becoming within the gaming industry. Easy Vice, but these folks, they stick together and they rally the troops, and they take a stand. Can that happen with the 2K community? I have no idea. I don't know who would be strong enough as a leader to come out there and lead the people to collectively take a stand. And I know it sounds weird because we're talking about gaming, but it happens in other games regularly, and they dictate what this developer is going to do with their project. Why can't it happen in 2K? Why? Because when we start getting into deep topics like this, a lot of people are like, nah, get out of here. Because a lot of us sports gamers, we don't like people knowing when we play video games. And a lot of us sports gamers don't even consider sports games like video games per se. Hear me out here. I understand that they're video games, but I mean to say, if you're a sports gamer, and someone asks you, yo, you play video games? I play 2K. Right? I know there's so many 2K players that think like this. They're not into the other genres of gaming. They just play 2K. We have this little bubble, and we're taking advantage. Sports gamers are taken advantage of by these sports gaming developers way more often, and their approach is way more aggressive than other genres of gaming. This is why these other gamers, they don't say no shorts. They're like, oh hell nah. They start their little Reddit forum thing or whatever, and it's over with, bro. They be having developers shaking. Crazy. Started playing 2K24 on my PlayStation Portal. Really, it's the smoothest game I played on it. Really? Oh, really? I was interested in that PlayStation Portal. Someone told me that the Steam Deck, like you have to have the games downloaded on your computer to play the game on the Steam Deck, which I didn't know. I thought you could just pull your library and then download a game onto the Steam Deck. Does anybody know? Maybe they don't want to do anything about it because the mass majority of the people who play 2K is a minority. Well, you put all these minorities together, we end up making up the majority. But uh, I don't think that's the case. I don't think that's the case because we've seen these type of things happen in Madden. FIFA's been going through it, and they've been going through it for years. EA's been doing that to the player base for years. It's like copy and paste games and then run their community dry, and they've been successful at it. So my girl would say my boyfriend be on 2K when they ask if I play video games, but hey, it's true. We all say 2K instead of video games. You feel what I'm saying? You feel what I'm saying, Fisher? Yeah, yeah. Imagine going to the grocery store, pay for all your stuff, and having to sign a TOS at the exit. And if you don't, you can't leave your stuff in the store. Yo, you that's a great analogy. I ain't even gonna front. But it is definitely food for thought, yeah. It's definitely food for thought. It's not directly like that, but you could understand what he's trying to explain here. Because we already paid for this, and now you're telling us there's a possibility that we can't complete the annual cycle if we don't sign these new terms of service. Mm. Spam the like button. Yes, please appreciate that, Mr. Right. Salute to y'all, man. If I see anybody familiar that's been here consistently, I'll definitely hand you guys a mod. So stay tuned. Again, if you guys can help, you guys, it's really just a matter of hitting that subscribe button, man. You can help us reach that 100K. We're grinding. One of the biggest topics in the 2K community, man. Crazy. To think that so many people just didn't have any idea of what they already accepted is wild. And I don't knock them at all. I don't knock them at all, bro. I don't expect anybody to know about that stuff, bro. You don't expect, you see 2K, right? How many times have you guys come across a tweet that said 2K took all my animations? 2K deleted my build. We know a lot of people be trying to finesse the system too. I get that. A lot of people do try to finesse the system, but that doesn't negate the fact that there are a lot of people who actually lost their builds. Appreciate you, Infamous. What up, Infamous? And you lease the games, not buy them. It's been that way since the inception of online play. And again, I think I appreciate you sharing that, Englewood. But like I said, I think folks are getting things mistaken. Everybody knows if they buy the digital version or a physical copy that they don't own this software. You get that? Like they're just expected. I think at the very least, they're expecting that every time they put it in the system, it works. And if they make an online purchase, it's tied. I think the more like the people who are like not as technologically advanced and they don't understand technology or none of that, they're just like, well, I paid for this. It's supposed to be on this disc. And then they kind of find out that it's not on the disc. I think that's where, like, we understand that we don't own the software for 2K, but we're expecting to have 2K on our dashboard as long as we got this disc. And that's not even promised to you guys. If we pay IRL money for a virtual currency pack, a VC pack, we're expecting it to be tied to our account. And it should never, ever, ever be lost. And I think a lot of us even expect that 2K got our backs and they'll keep our transaction secure. If I'm mistaken about that, let me know. Just like the homie said, Englewood, the same goes with music, digital music. You buy that, you don't own it, but you expect it to be on your iPhone, right? If the joint ups and disappears, you're expecting somebody to kind of make sure you get that back at no charge to you. You're expecting someone to have your back is what I'm getting at. And what we found out yesterday, well, I should say what a lot of people found out yesterday through the terms of service is that 2K is saying, nah, homie, we don't got your back, bro. That's on you, B. Look, it says it right here. We are not liable, bro, for VC. We are not liable for any type of virtual item, including VC. and we are not liable for your account either. Like, anyone know this is legal? Isn't it illegal to essentially force someone into an agreement post purchase of an item, especially locking the consumer out of their purchase? Well, maybe that's why there's an option to opt out. You see how they make the option to opt out way more difficult? If you guys don't know, you can't opt out of the arbitration agreement, the new terms of service. You're going to have to accept them in order to opt out. In order to play, you're going to have to accept it, and then you got to send in your opt out notice. Maybe that's their how do you say, the legal escape, where they don't have to be liable for anything. They give them the option to opt out. You give players the option to opt out. Well, we gave them the option to opt out. So it's so easy to accept it, click of a button to accept. But in order to opt out, you're gonna have to write them, and then you're gonna have to process the documents. Crazy. I mean, it's insane. Appreciate you, Benny Hoff. What up, man? At this point, I'm just waiting for GTA 6. Probably won't be doing much gaming after that. You know what? I don't want to. I feel y'all, man. I swear to God, I feel y'all. Because maybe a lot of you guys are feeling like me, where it's like, damn, now, when you're turning on your PlayStation or something, you don't even feel, it's like you got to second guess every purchase now. I don't want to read no terms of service for every game that I play. I don't want to do that. I don't even want to be concerned with that. I want to know that if I make a purchase through the system that the service put in place, that system is going to keep my transaction secure. And they're telling us in black and white that, no, sorry, Brody, it's not the case. There has to be some regulation on there. There has to be a way that the consumer has some sort of right. If we want to think about licensing, think about it like that. We bought a license. Just like we have the game, we bought a license. We're renting that license, like the homie mentioned. We're renting that license. But 2K, you have no say-so. Unless your company goes down, you have no say-so on whether or not I have or have not this license, unless I violate your terms. If I don't violate your terms, then that's mine because I paid for the license. He said, wait till y'all read that console TOS. I could only imagine. Yeah, that console TOS. I never read the console TOS. I feel like this whole time they've been turning off servers we could have sued. Nah. Maybe. I can't even say, because I don't know when they incorporated the arbitration waiver. Well, like the new terms of service agreement. I don't know when they incorporated that. I know they last updated the TOS January 29th, and they're going to do another one in February 28th. But they could have added a bunch of the stuff that we read off. They could have added that recently on that January 29th update. I'm not 100% sure, unless somebody else knows better. I didn't even get the joy from 2K All City. I'm going to just wait for GTA 6. I didn't get it either, y'all. I'm with y'all completely. I get it completely. I didn't get the joy out of 2K either over the last few years. We're just eventually going to be paying subscription to game companies to play their games. Ubisoft been on that wave with Ubisoft plus Rockstar getting started with GTA Plus. Yeah, I think you're right. I've been saying the same thing too. A lot of games, I think that's the future of gaming. I think that's the future for 2K as well. I think they are going to take the live service approach. It's almost inevitable. And you guys will be paying what I'm hoping for. This is what I'm hoping for. Because this could go any way. Like, we could go into live service and they'll have you paying $70 for the new roster update. And the way in which they're going to go around that is the same thing that they're doing now. They're going to shut down servers. It might only be an annual cycle server. You know what I mean? Like, you can't even, as soon as the new iteration of 2K is supposed to drop, you're not going to have to download or purchase the game anymore, per se. But you're going to have to make a purchase to get the new roster update for the new season. So I could see it going like that. It's just a matter of how is 2K going to go about the pricing? Are they going to charge you for each game mode? Like, do we pay 19.99 for the My Career game mode? Uh, and then, if we want my team, we pay another 9.99. I highly doubt it'd be that low, but that's what I'm more so curious about. Which way are they going to take it? Are they going to try to charge us $70 with a live service game? That's what 2K would do. 2K would do something like that. Yeah. Mm. GTX put a TOS mid-year release and people will sign it in no hesitation. You're gonna do a 2K crossover about this? I imagine it's gonna be the largest topic, so I imagine we'll be talking. It depends what happens between now and Friday, but I imagine it'd be one of the topics, hoax. We have to leave 2K, but hell, it's hard for us to come together in the first place to even, come up with the idea to leave 2K. But that I tell you one thing, y'all. That's exactly what other gaming communities are good at. They come together and they take a stand against the developer. Maybe the games we're playing are too large. Maybe they're just larger than life. They're larger than the consumers, and we can't take that stand. Maybe that's what it is. But to put this in perspective, we're the ones who gave 2K this position. We put them in the position they're in. NBA in real life might end in less than 10 years. Won't have to worry no more. Nowadays, gaming is just downhill. Back then, it was fun to hop on with the gang and just play whatever we desire for hours. Now, some of us don't even crack a smile and probably stay on for uh, 31.5 hours. Um, I kind of feel you on that, but then I think I've been trying a lot of different games out, and most recently Enshrouded, just finished Cyberpunk, super fun, and Power World. Maybe we as gamers just kind of need to explore more, but I feel you on the gaming front because I feel like a good portion of gaming is it's just empty, empty, and then folks like the developers of Enshrouded come along and they show you that this is what gaming's supposed to be. But I feel you on that. I've been playing 2K17 Play Now on Hall of Fame, and it feels way better and actually enjoying it. Look at that. Look at that. What the homie say? That was OG and Calvin. That part, because comp versus sim is the real issue here. Ty said they are larger than life. Yep. NBA Live needs to make a play now. Yeah, NBA Live, they do need. You would think they would make a play, but I honestly don't even feel like they're even concerned or even thinking about it. I think 2K got this in the bag, y'all. I feel like 2K got this in the bag. Competition, I don't think it's on 2K's radar, B. They know the NBA got their back. They ain't gonna let nobody come up, and they're definitely not gonna come up under the radar. I think it's the city that take too much of the service. What happened to the old store that 2K had where you can buy in the menu? Yeah, we had so many like conveniences before. And then we get this large city, and I think it was like a novelty thing. We were hyped because it was something new, but it got how old? Like it got old real quick. I never thought, even when they spoke initially about having a city, I never thought for a second that the city would go away. But leave it up to 2K. Leave it up to 2K to create this gigantic city that otherwise, probably in the hands of any other developer, would be absolutely amazing. And 2K makes it dry. How do you jack that up? I don't know. I understand your frustration. Like I used to be so good and unstoppable when 2K was so good. Like, bro, my IQ was super high. RIP 2K. Wait, a year worth for next basketball game that can compete against 2K. Huh? With 2K being the only basketball game with an NBA license is what's hurting us. Yeah. Who else is finna come up with that one? When you think about it from the NBA, when you got the leading sports gaming developer as far as basketball sports gaming giving you in the last contract $1.1 billion from the NBA. What the hell else? First of all, the NBA is going to want to keep that payment secure. And I imagine in 2 years, when they renew that contract, I imagine it's going to be double that. So, what other companies coming up giving that type of money to the NBA for licensing? Tell me that. Tell me who's going to give the NBA $2.3 billion for a licensing agreement. And I hope you guys understand that sports gaming in general, it's high risk for investors, super high risk. Gaming development in the first place is super high risk for developers. But if folks so happen to get investors on board, they're still going to have to come up with that licensing fee. And what I mean to say here is that the way in which the licensing fee works from the NBA is the NBA will take 10 to 15% of your revenue. So that's how they were able to, and hope you guys understand that. 1.1, hear me out here. Just to put this in perspective. This was way back when. I think it was like a 7-year deal, if I'm not mistaken. I could be mistaken on the exact number, but it was something along those lines. The way the NBA determines the fee for your licensing agreement is 10 to 15% of your revenue. And for 2K, it was on the higher end. So it was something like 15% of their revenue. That's how they got the $1.1 billion number. If it's 10 to 15% of your revenue, that means that 2K makes 10 times more than $1.1 billion, or 9 times more for that instance. 10 to 15% goes to the NBA, and then add 9 more. Do you get the scope now? That's how much money they're making. Wow. But I ain't using the NBA. I can probably use overseas pro basketball teams. I tell you that I feel like developers are too focused on that NBA licensing. I understand from the grand scheme. I'll put it like this. If an indie developer takes a risk, I think they will be tremendously successful if they go the route avoiding the NBA licensing. I know that sounds weird, but that's how I think frustrated the 2K community player base actually is. If a competitor came out on the low, the only way they could do this on the low is if they don't worry about that NBA licensing. But if their game has to be up to par. It not only has to look good, it has to function well. So all the core mechanics and everything that we've become accustomed to playing 2K, even though we hate it, is still better than anything out there. Do you get what I'm saying? So we can't just think that we could come up with any game as a competitor and is going to be able to compete with 2K. That's not going to be the case. But I do feel that if a competitor comes out, avoids the NBA licensing, and creates street parks, but has very similar mechanics to 2K. I don't know how they will go about motion capture or any of that. The animations need to play out fluidly. If they took that route, no NBA licensing, just make it GTA basketball. And I don't mean GTA pop somebody. I just mean GTA open world. I'm going to the park. You go visit your homie. He got his house over there. If they made it something like that, something immersive, forget about it. They don't need no NBA licensing, B. For the last few years, I go directly into the rec center. I don't need a game with NBA licensing, man. I despise my career. When I get 2K, like a lot of other people, we get it to play online. If a competitor comes out with a game that you could create your my player and get them fresh, they have all the drip. Maybe a competitor should really focus on like drip, like getting stores to, whatever rights they need to go through to get those stores to submit their clothing, so that it could be in the game digitally. Then I think they have some room there, but it have to be dope, man. Like if you could get Supreme or something like that. I don't know the latest clothing, but if you could get some of the higher end clothing in, ooh, we 2K gonna have some problems, man. Yeah, and that's another thing too. Ty said. Ty said, "Y'all underestimating how much it costs to make a basketball game that rivals 2K." Yeah, I think folks are forgetting how much it costs, and this is why I mentioned investors. Like, but it's not unlikely, and this is new. Yeah, this is brand new. Star Citizen. It's not necessarily brand new. I can't say it's brand new, but I will say that Star Citizen has crowdfunded over $500 million. So it's not like it's impossible, y'all. And that game is still like it hasn't been released officially yet. I think it's in the alpha stage. And they're generating, hear me out here. They're generating microtransactions where one transaction can cost you $48,000. Yeah, y'all hear what I said? One transaction for a Starship bundle will cost 48,000. And that's exclusive to the, and there's another aspect of it. People spend so much money on this game that's in alpha. 2,000 for a ship. That only people who have spent 10,000 or more are even allowed to purchase this $48,000 Starship package. Do you see where gaming is going, y'all? Am I tripping? Like, do we not see a problem here? Crazy. It is possible. Oh, City, why don't you put a proposal up and make up, well, I don't know what that, a comparator to 2K? I'm not, or like a proposal for development. I'm not sure. I mean, I would help, but I don't got what it takes to do that stuff. I don't have no knowledge on that stuff like that. Tell you the truth. Unreal Engine needs to make a basketball game. Ooh, that'd be dope. Add benching system. Take and miss 5 back contested shots, and the AI takes over your player for a quarter. Do it again. That's Bama Beach Boy. That's a millionaire game. Yeah, bro, check it out. Star Citizen been in development for like 10 years though. It is really impressive. Yeah, Star Citizen has been in development for 10 years and they crowdfunded. They easily got 50, 60 and over the years developed 500. Do y'all see how it's crazy, B? Gaming used to be for kids. That seems long gone now. But you know what's worse is that I feel like, and there's get plenty of games out for young kids, but there's like a blurred line now because not only like the homie said, it's not for kids anymore, but you're almost worried as a guardian. You're almost worried to let your kids get on. You got to check the parental controls and make sure that they can't commit to any microtransactions. And I'm sure the same goes with the phones and all of that, and the app stores and all of that, because it's become slimy. I grew up when New York was New York. I grew up when you couldn't go to 42nd Street. I grew up when, you go to 42nd Street and it's nude stuff and you see the XXX. That's how gaming is starting to feel like. It's starting to feel like slimy. Like a old New York Times Square, where it's highly likely you'll get robbed. So, so like I said, it's really lost that wholesome quality where you kind of feel safe on there. And I'm not trying to like add fear or nothing like that. I'm just saying, man, we got to talk about it. It's absolutely necessary because what the hell, if it's like this now, where the hell is it going? I'm sure your paycheck don't match the inflation costs you're seeing in the gaming industry. Imagine you were getting the raises to fulfill all like everything that these gaming companies want from you, with their ways of inflation. Imagine your money that you was bringing home. That's what you was getting. At a matchup, you won't even see no difference. But that's not the case. The reason why it's a big problem is because the inflation in the real world, although there is a considerable amount of inflation, if the real world had to go through 2K inflation, oh my God, everybody's homeless. That will remove people from my career, fill all 30 slots. We have the All City League, Englewood. You haven't joined our Discord, Inglewood. All City Slim runs our All City League. Everybody's by the way, everybody's the league is open, so all you got to do is join our Discord. We run tournaments. We have the league going, and we have a lot going on. Yeah, there's a lot going on at the Discord. If you guys are interested in that, just type exclamation point Discord in the chat. They may be hosting trials for the All City Lunatics later on this evening. All City Slim. I may be able to make it. I'm not exactly sure, but we'll see how it turns out. I appreciate you posting the hoax. Thanks, man. I remember when gaming devs gave back to the community that helped make their game what it was. Sad that there are only a select few development teams that do that now. And I will say this, I see 2K and they're building courts in different neighborhoods, so I know they do things IRL in the community. But then when you think of the money that they make, it feels more like a marketing stunt, almost like they're politicians. I hate to even say like that because I would have loved, I know in my hood, I would have loved to get a 2K court. So that's why I hate to even think like that. But I can't help think like that when I'm thinking of 2K. But I know, like, we ended up getting Nike courts. It wasn't directly in my projects where I grew up, but it was by the pool area. And it was Nike. They had the Nike signs all over it. The course had nets. If you guys don't know, in the city you don't get nets. You know what I mean? Like, it's a rare occasion. If you got a net, somebody jacking the joint, it's gone the next day. Uh, but I know I would have been super happy. I would have been super happy to get a 2K court. So I don't want to turn something good into something slimy. But when I think of 2K, I can't help it, man. Yes, tax write-offs. Facts. You said it. You said tonight as I typed that. All right, cool. Are you good, Englewood? All good? Yeah, yeah, all good. Slim said he's gonna pick it up. He's gonna pick up the league soon. We could have got a train on 2K24 that took us to our my court. We could have got a lot from 2K. We could have got a lot from 2K. And that's another aspect of it. I ain't gonna front. Yeah, each year we get more of what we don't want and what we want taken away from us. How do y'all feel about that statement? I feel like simple things like a my court should have been like quickly done for the 2K community. Simple things, y'all. Like, why isn't that? Appreciate the sub, Trayvon. Thank you, man. I don't know why I'm not getting the notification. Let me see. Is my alerts on? Yeah, I have alerts on. I didn't hear it. Yep, that's the hood where they'll do you no good. What up, Brooklyn, man? Don't give 2K no more bad ideas. Facts. We don't need no trains. We don't need no trains, man. We don't want to encourage 2K to continue to generate the city unless they're going to really make the city lively. You know what makes a city lively? When you're trying to get from point A to point B and you get sidetracked because there's so many things distracting you along your way. Some of the best games like Zelda, Witcher 3, Red Dead Redemption 2, some of the best games have you go from point A to point B. But the side content is so well done that you end up getting lost. And before you know it, you're getting to point B from point A like 2 days later because you got caught up doing other stuff. I think that's what really makes an open world lived in. 2K got a completely empty city. In other words, they got NPCs all over the place. You know why? because the first try they had with the city, everybody said the city's empty, so they just dumped a bunch of NPCs doing nonsense. The 2K community are not dumb. I don't know, like I don't think that'll be acceptable anywhere. We are not dumb. We don't just want to see NPCs. We need to feel it lived in. I'll give you guys a perfect instance. I was playing Red Dead Redemption 2 the other day. So I get on my horse. I'll give you guys, hear me out here. I get on my horse and I see a guy on his horse going by, NPC, right? And this is how dope this is. I see the dude, so I start moving toward him. And as I get closer, I got off my horse. This NPC, this NPC stopped the horse, turned to me, put his hand on his gun, and said to me, "I wouldn't do that if I was you," and then walked off looking back at me. I said, yo, I said, that's what gaming is. That's what NPC's supposed to do. You feel me? 2K. All you got is NPCs that taking up space. NBA Live 19 had the best online matchmaking experience. Straight hoops, no filler. There was some that I couldn't get with NBA Live's their animations, man. I tried it, but don't get me wrong, I used to only play NBA Live before 2K came out, but there's something about 19 that I tried the animations and there was something lacking there. I felt like maybe I'm just too used to 2K. They get AI breakdancing. Yeah, facts. They got AI's breakdancing. World of Worship started that no lawsuit player agreement. They got sued for nerfing purchased ships. 2K is doing the same thing, nerfing bills after you spent money on. Ooh, that's a good point. You know, throughout this whole process, I didn't even think about that. That we're paying for our bills and they nerfed them. And, you know, I've made this argument through the years. But in regards to these new terms of service agreement, everything we read, where they openly tell you guys, we could change anything we want. You can't do nothing about it. We're not liable, which pretty much tells you guys that every single purchase you make is at your own risk. And 2K is not going to make sure that you're safe while you're doing it, to the point, which I'll pull up right now, to the point that it says they warrant that the services or third-party services will be accurate or reliable, uninterrupted, timely, secure, error-free, or free from viruses. You know, like they telling you, we can't even keep you safe from viruses, bro. Crazy. Let me see what the homie said. Every time you tell that stories, it sounds like it happens IRL. I ain't gonna front. It felt like it, and this was recent. This was, you know, I haven't. I played. It had to be within the last month that I got on Red Dead. And when I saw that, and what I'm doing this time around, this is not the first time of me playing Red Dead Redemption 2, but what I'm doing this time around is that I'm looking for scenarios like that. So I'm like going through the map slowly and I'm taking it all in. Almost like with a fine-tooth comb. I'm just going through, seeing what the NPCs are saying, listening to the dialogue that plays, and you'd be absolute. It has to have the best NPC dialogues ever. Because them joints are crazy and they're so dynamic. RDR2 is a great game. It's still a PS4, never got the next gen upgrade. Imagine if it's next gen improvements on top of a fire game like that. Facts, bro. Yeah, I have facts, bro. Like, felt you're playing on the water live. Felt like you're playing on the water. Yeah, yeah. There was something, yeah. There was something I couldn't connect with the fluidity of the animations. Do you remember when NBA Live was the best basketball game? Man, I'll tell you guys one thing. Maybe some of you guys never even heard of this game, but I come from Double Dribble. Double Dribble. So This before live. This like double dribble was it. And yeah, yo, crazy, B. If y'all go if y'all go look up double dribble right now, maybe there's a YouTube video on it. I don't know. But if y'all look up double dribble right now, you're gonna be like, what? That's what y'all playing? That's what we were playing, B. That's where we were at. And it was amazing. Like it was amazing back then. What up, Jameer? What's going on, man? There's no way NBA Street should feel more fun than 2K24. I feel the same way, Machete. That's why you play with the homies in an online league or play now online. It's stress free. Facts. It is way stress free, way more stress free. Plausible deniability. Captain Red Libra said 2K24, FIFA, and Madden. All the big sports games lost sight of just making a good game. And they kind of go nowhere. And they kind of go on more aligned with games that should be free to play with the microtransactions. Yeah. I think that's what a lot of us feel. A lot of us feel like, hold on, they done lost their way. So, if EA is one of 2K's biggest competitors and EA has, well, they no longer have FIFA. I don't know what's going on with that, but I know they changed the name for FIFA. But they got Madden. They had FIFA for years. And they had Live at one point. So 2K probably feels like they're behind the ball and probably they're chasing, probably EA is their white rabbit. So this is why they follow these type of practices. And we're seeing very similar practices to EA. Maybe that could be it. The homie Just Ice said facts. NBA Live felt like you were hooping underwater. But he said, but at least I could get a game. How do you opt out? If you wanna know how to opt out, I could pull it up, matter of fact. So you don't have to go to the video, but in case you guys need another reference, I do have it in today's video, but I'll share it with you guys right now because I got it titled. So here we go. Here's the opt-out one right here. We'll pull it up. Opt-out right there. Applicability, your right to opt out. The binding individual arbitration requirement will not apply to the extent prohibited by the laws of your country or state of residence. You have the right to opt out of this arbitration agreement. You must notify us in writing within 30 days of the date that you first accept this agreement, unless a longer period is required by applicable law. And here's the address that you send this to. And when you choose to opt out, it says the opt-out notice must include your full name, your mailing address, your account name, if you have one, and a clear signed statement that you do not agree to the arbitration agreement. You are responsible for ensuring our receipt of your opt-out notice. Do you hear that? You hear that, right? You guys you can't just fill this out and send it, because if they disregard it and you don't have a receipt, then it's like it never happened. So this is why they make clear that you are responsible for ensuring our receipt of your opt-out notice, that you're responsible for making sure that they receive this opt-out notice. You therefore may want to send your notice using a delivery method that provides you with a written receipt of delivery. So I tried to stress that in today's video. Hopefully you guys get that if you are choosing to opt out. Because they don't own or house their service. Facts. Viruses, were they hacked? No, nobody was hacked. But if they so happen to get hacked, 2K's not liable. Was lively than 2K ever was, especially 08 with Dwight on the cover. It's hard to say because, man, even though I've been feeling the way I'm feeling about 2K for quite a few years now, I never could forget the impact that 2K has made in the gaming industry when it was really focused on gaming. I have spent tons of enjoyable hours on 2K, hours that I just never wish to take back, hours that I wish I could revisit, that time of extreme enthusiasm playing the game, just super happy. The entire year, it was like maybe the last week of the year that we're like, we want a new game, because we're anticipating something better. We're not anticipating 2K to regress. I think that's the best bet. Yeah, I think that's a good start. A good start, and I think there's a fair step for the 2K community, especially with everything that we're learning. I think a fair compromise, because I know folks ain't gonna up and quit. I already know that. A lot of people said they are, but I know they'll be here next year. We get that, and I think a lot of us feel the same way. I think a fair compromise would be like, let's not do any microtransactions, bro. We played 2K for years without microtransactions. And if the good majority of and it wasn't too long ago, it was just in 2K18 that folks frowned upon people who wanted to boost. They buy boosts and things like that. It was frowned upon in the 2K community. It wasn't too long ago. So this is still fairly new. It ain't like it can't happen. It ain't like we as a community can go back to not buying boosts. If we the reason, a big reason as to why we notice the effects when we don't have boosts is because everybody else is boosted up. But if everybody doesn't buy boost, then it'll be more challenging for everybody. Everybody will be satisfied, and we won't have to worry about looking less effective when we all don't have boosts. I don't know. I wonder how that would look. I would like to see. I will say this, just to keep it a buck with y'all, because even though I'm like kind of disgusted with 2K's ways right now, I'm gonna keep it a buck with y'all. This year I went no money spent. I didn't have boosts. You get what I'm saying? I didn't have the Gatorade. I was playing a lot of games during the initial stages with a low overall build, and I was effective. This was the initial stages of 2K, so the players weren't fully up to par. You get what I'm saying? Everybody was brand new on 2K, but I felt like I was doing really well and holding my own. It wasn't like there was a 65 overall out there. You get what I'm saying? So, and I did that, grinded them to 99, and did that with 2 builds. And I will say that I noticed earlier in the year that you can play without boosts. Now, I'm playing with some really good players. I made sure that my lineup was like, I wasn't playing with just anybody. In the beginning of the year, it was like a set 5 we were running, because I was, I was a liability per se, going out there with a low overall with no boost. So I wanted to make sure we had the best 5 out there. But in regards to like knocking down your shots and showing up where you need to show up, it wasn't a problem. Not to say that you could take that same, the problem here is that you can't take that and play against higher levels of competition. So you're going to spank anybody solely off of your IQ with no boost. But as soon as you play a good team, they're going to shut that player down. And that's the tough part. Ty Smith said, perfect time for NBA Live to jump back in. Wishful thinking, man. I wish that could happen. By the way, again, please consider subscribing if you're new here. We do this every day. You guys could come kick it with us, and you also can help us get one step closer to 100K, man. Become a part of the journey. Say you help City get to 100K. You can do that by hitting subscribe today. 2K butt cheeks. Having more fun back Fortnite. 0 build. Nice. That's what's up, Mr. Hollywood. I know a lot of people like that. Rucker Park going soon. That's what's up, Fear God. I would like to see what you come up with, man. Wish you the best of luck. Thank you, Raiders. Thank you for the sub. I'm supposed to be getting them notifications, but they're not coming in. I just see it on screen. Most definitely should go back to skill points. Then rivals became friends or haters. Then they'd be sweaty as trying to play in your my court. Yeah, remember that? Yo. Facts. Used to have a gang in the my court. Deshaun McLean said, I made a prediction that a day will come where a lot of us would boycott 2K. It seems that time has arrived, and for damn good reason. It is good reason, but will a boycott happen? Highly doubtful, man. Highly doubtful. I played Martin Luther King. Yes, me, Puerto Rican, was Martin Luther King in a 4th grade play. But I don't have it. I don't have it to lead the way on this stuff, man. I would definitely participate, but leading the way and getting all these different personalities together within the 2K community, I'm not nearly as patient as Dr. King had to be. I don't spend money on the game, and as far as boost goes, I haven't bought any, but I get boosts from all kinds of rewards. Yeah, yeah. That's good, man. Salute to you. We need more people to do the same. Am I tripping or does your badge activate more without boosts? First time, Pat G. First time I heard that one. Interesting though. I didn't notice. I didn't notice that though. Then again, this year I didn't really pay much attention to badges. I felt like badges were pretty irrelevant. Not to say that they're not useful, but what I mean to say is if all you had to do was go out there and play your play style and your badges end up getting maxed out and they don't fold, especially after they don't regress after that last update where 2K changed the regression. So I really stopped paying attention to badges like that. I can't tell the difference between boosts or no boosts. Well, there is a difference, man. You notice it, especially as you get to higher levels of competition. You'll notice it ASAP. You need to shoot super quick. You know, you only got a millisecond window to shoot because the defense is so good. Or you're playing against tough defenders who created their build properly, so they added some strength, and that strength is draining you when they body you up. So you're getting a weaker animation on your drive to the paint. So it, there's different expectations for our players, and as you increase your level of competition, you're gonna say, "Hey, I got cooked out there." Yeah, bro. Where with boost, you could take off. You get, the boost just adds a certain level, like it adds animations to your player per se. And the more, because animations are tied directly into stamina, the most optimal animations will be when you will receive more optimal animations, I should say, the more full that your stamina bar is. That's why Gatorade is super important. Boost is not placebo. It's like I said, I can play good without boost, but when you get into the tighter situations, that's when you're gonna see like, man, that's when you just need a slight edge. You notice the slight edge with boost. I haven't played for some folks, maybe not. I will tell you this: the less boost you have, the more IQ you need. And I will tell you this as well: if you match up two teams with the same IQ, the same skill set, the team with boost is going to have an edge. They're going to hit more shots. They're going to get better driving animations, even dribbling the rock, even down to the point of dribbling the rock for the point guards. Boost absolutely needed, especially at the point guard position. Yeah, yeah, just ice. This is not, this experience. Yeah, I'm not speaking on my behind here. I did it this year. I played without boost and I played with boost. So I did it this year. I see the importance. Some people may not see it because they consistently playing bums in the wreck. You may not necessarily see it, or some people's play style is more so that they just need to sit in the corner and they're playing corner on offense, corner on defense. Certain play styles may not need boosts. Uh, oh no, you're not playing that. I don't even know what this is. About to Siri was just about to turn up. I heard turn up for what? I said, what in the world, Siri? It's not even nighttime yet. The fleas come out that night. Bam, bam, bam. Big difference in rebounding, blocking, and stealing. That's another thing as well. Yeah. People will continue to buy the game, but the amount of people playing the game for more than 3 months is starting to drop drastically. I would love to get the numbers, tell you the truth. I know we speculate, and I think a lot of us that play the game daily could actually see and feel the player base dwindling. But there's just like no evidence. It doesn't feel like there's evidence out there. You could go to Twitch and see how many, but those are live streams. You get what I mean? It doesn't mean that it's the player base. I think badges are really more of the edge, like Spot Finder. Yeah, badges are definitely a the badges have been in the game for the longest time. Badges definitely give you the edge. But what I mean to say is everybody got badges. So, especially this year, the badges are forced on you. Uh, so everybody, if they don't have, that's always part of the strategy. And I was when I was speaking about boost, I was saying that under the impression that most of us know, hey, the badges have that boost factor, but that doesn't negate the fact that boost For instance, you can make your build a certain like attribute for ball handling, and if you want particular animations or you want a speed boost more often, Gatorade. Do you get what I mean to say? Because otherwise, well, you would find out what happens is if you don't have Gatorade, then that first crossover move depleted your bar. And now you're limited. Now you're stuck. And as a point guard this year, it was really important for me to pay attention to my stamina bar. It determined everything for me, determined my success for everything. So I always made sure to have the Gatorade and the ball handle boost, the shooting boost. Uh, and it's such a huge difference going from it's dribbling, going up the court. Everything is, I mean, tremendously different at the point guard position. It may be different for other positions on the court, but at the PG position, you ain't going out there with no boost and thinking you're gonna dominate like that. It ain't happening, bro. I don't care. You got to be a goat. I'm not gonna say I don't care who you are, but you got to be a goat if you're playing against a tough team, not these rec bums. And I'm not knocking y'all if you play rec. I play rec myself. What up, Adrian? What's going on, man? You already lead the way. You just don't realize it, man. You brought it to our attention. Community is talking about it. Yeah, I appreciate that, Deshaun. Yeah, if you could participate, support, participate in any way, you know what I mean to say. I guess I play my part is what I'm getting at. It's like I do my best to play my part, and hopefully it encourages somebody somebody powerful, somebody with some leverage on the business side of things that says, nah. Like I was wondering, like, no lawyers in here. Ain't no lawyers. Like like for instance, who's a good person to help lead the way, and he's doing so himself by participating in the 2K community. The good homie Herb Scribner. We reported on Herb Scribner quite a few times. He came into one of our Twitter spaces. Herb Scribner is a feature reporter for the Washington Post, and he's done dropped multiple articles on 2K that come out in the Washington Post. So that those are big moves, and that goes to show us how small we are when the Washington Post is, airing 2K out, and here we are trying to battle them out too. Badges are tied to attributes, so like Right Stick Ripper, which is pretty broken badge, is sought after at higher levels. 2K is trash when you need to be 90 overall to compete with 90 and up. I could be 75 and worth being picked up on rec squads with 90s. Where Mr. Yeah, you feel what I'm saying? Like you want change? Go ahead and let Mr. Beast cover this topic. Yeah, we'll see some change. We need heavy influencers, like heavy. Facts. I literally only play for one or a half. And I'm talking about, I used to play 2K. Damn, I didn't realize we were already an hour and a half in. I used to play 2K endless hours, endless, like unhealthy amount of hours. But everybody, all of us did. You know what I mean to say? Like we be on there 3 p.m. to 3 a.m., probably starting even earlier. And you didn't even feel it. You just went to sleep and got ready for the next day to dominate in 2K. It was so fun. I might consider that. Yeah, Hoax. I might reach out to him. That's a good idea. He's a really nice guy, by the way. Y'all know about the 2K overall cheese? A lot of dudes sit at 92 to try to get easier games. Well, yeah, that's been in 2K for years. The 92 and under. But I didn't realize it was in this year's. What up, Kilo? What's going on, man? I never got legend, but it was the goal. The core of the game is effing pooty. No substance. I feel the same way. It's lacking substance, man. I'm curious to see how many people have uninstalled the game after yesterday. We thought the player base was dropping fast before. I'm expecting ghost towns after this. Well, the video that we posted yesterday, I think is somewhere close to 300,000 views. And I will say a lot of people did say they were done with 2K. But if I had to take my best guess, probably 10% of the people actually deleted 2K. And I'm talking about 10% of the people who commented. Angry Joe. Yeah, I would like to see Angry Joe go in too. I would like to see Angry Joe. You know, Osmond Gold, he went in. He went in on 2K. So I thought that was interesting. Put up 50 to create a new free game for the community. 2K will go out of business. Wouldn't that be dope, Mr. OGK? Who would start the movement? Who's gonna be the one to start the movement? And are we even strong enough? Now keep this in mind, yeah. Just keep this in mind. And I'm not saying this to discourage anybody, but I'm saying this more so to kind of give you guys the reality of the situation. If you attempt to go against 2K, this is the same company that has paid the NBA, that are backed by the NBA and paid the NBA $1.1 billion. So that'll give you a scope of how much money is necessary to go up and create some sort of change. I'm not saying that we need $1 billion, but you got to be creative in your approach, and you need to be on your A game with your approach. You're not messing with 2K's money, and there's not going to be no repercussions. I ain't going to front. When I saw yesterday's video going up, I saw that video going crazy. I just, I made sure to dot my I's, and I was on my P's and Q's, is what I mean to say. I was looking all over, making sure everything is covered, watching how I phrase things and all of that. Because I do not want to get on 2K's radar on a negative. I checked my email to make sure there wasn't none from no lawyer talking about cease and desist from making, because I was reading the terms of service and it covers something like that about creating content. And it says something along the lines of, as long as it doesn't affect 2K's business. I said, oh crap, I don't want to end up in no hot water with 2K. I am not messing with them, bro. It's not going down like that, because they'll shut everything down. My money is not nothing like 2K. Nothing like Ronnie 2K. You know what I'm saying? Like nothing like none of them. It's already there. There's nothing new. The game feels different every day. You're greening shots, the next day you're bricking. I think they just need to take a year off or revamp the system and be more creative and efficient, as do a lot of people. All City, the movement is starting now. So when you give us the stamp of approval, I'm buying it. If you say it's worth it, it's so I'm in. I appreciate that, Greens. I'm gonna buy the game every year, and I am gonna speak on things like, each year, especially this year in particular. They came out with a ton. They spoke about a ton of new stuff initially, and I was super excited about 2K24, and I couldn't hold back my enthusiasm. I made a ton of videos on it explaining all the new details, but I was disappointed, heavily disappointed for the second year in a row, although I think 2K24 is a decent project. I don't think it's as good as it was supposed to be after all the patches. So when 2K25 comes out, I am going to be excited when they start talking about new things, but trust and believe this approach this year, when 2K25 drop, is going to be more in line. But be cautious. And what I'm going to be doing is comparing everything they said, because I got everything saved. I knew this day was going to come. I say I got everything saved and organized. I'm going to be comparing some of the things that they said for 2K24 to what they're going to try to sell us in 2K25. So it's going to be like buyer beware. And I'm going to make sure I'm not going to approach it the same way I have over the last 2 years, just telling you this is new and this is amazing. Nah, bro. It's going to be very different. This is new, but they said that last year. That's what it's going to be. Yeah, hoax. I'm not trying to get into none of those problems. Plus, I don't want this channel to be considered a negative channel. I don't want this channel, I'm about good energy. I'd rather smile any day than be upset and serious. Like, it's my natural inclination to smile, bro. So, I don't really want that type of energy on me either. You know what I'm saying? So, I'm mad they don't let us adjust the game. They changed the game too much. What up, Artist Sage? Thank you for the video. I deleted the game. I was about to sign something I would regret. Interesting. Look at that. Artist Sage deleted the game. So talking about folks deleting the game, look at that. If you don't have KC, the notable said, if you don't have 2K installed on the 28th, do you think they would automatically assume you accept the new terms of service? I'm not sure. I'm not sure if when you load it up, you'll get a pop-up. That's I'm interested. We'll come back on on that time and we'll find out. Let me know. I guess we'll find out. 23 engine with 24 my player creator and badges would have been perfect. If you can't provide a solid online experience, I'll just play the old game offline when I want to play. A lot of people, like myself included, I primarily get 2K to play online. I kind of despise the offline game modes. And that's just that's a veteran's experience. I've done it for so many years. If it's new to you, it's new to you or anybody else, or some people like offline, so be it. But I just despise playing against AIs. Um, I'd rather play against a real person any day. I actually saw you enjoy a game on stream for the first time in such a long time Thursday. What was that? When I was playing that Cyberpunk, right? Well, I was playing Cyberpunk. That's facts though, man. I looked at that old stream and I was like, yo, that's crazy. Cause it's facts. When I'm on 2K, I don't even think this channel was built on me streaming for 2 years straight. This channel was me streaming every day consistently. It was something like 2 years straight. Uh and for 23 and 24, I barely stream gameplay. I just not nearly as enthusiastic. Unfortunately, I missed the stream yesterday, but after seeing it, I uninstalled it immediately. I'm done with 2K. Look at Deshaun uninstalled it as well. Imagine how many other games they're gonna throw this TOS on. Yeah, that's what we were talking about, Deshaun. That it's commonplace in gaming that they have these terms of service, but like we started the stream talking about, is it seems very different. One, the 2K community had no idea that this was already in the terms of service that they already have agreed to. They're gonna drop a new set of terms of service on the 28th. But I think the 2K community feels very different because we got to deal with so many like error codes, people losing the virtual assets that are described in the arbitration, like, well, in the terms of service. And to see that we have no rights as a consumer when dealing with 2K, I think the 2K community is feeling apprehensive about that because we already know how, I don't know how many times folks regularly say, I want to sue 2K or 2K needs to reimburse us. You get that? All the while, we have already signed a terms of service agreement that says we're not liable for nothing. All that virtual stuff you pay for, I'm gonna put it out there, bro. We didn't talk about it. Let me put it up. Let me pull it up because I'm gonna pull up that first message again. To the fullest extent permitted by applicable law, the services are provided to you as is, as available, and with all faults. That's not all it says. Services or third-party services will, it says, neither Take Two nor any digital storefront warrant that the services, third-party services, will be accurate or reliable. There's no promise they will be uninterrupted. There's no promise they will be timely, secure, error-free, or free from viruses. That's straight in your terms of service, yeah. So, I mean, like, we have a choice. We do have a choice. But 2K got that market. They got the market cornered, B. How much do you want to play 2K? I don't think other gamers and other dealing with other developers have to worry as much as we worry. The same things that they have covered in the terms of service are exactly the things that we experience. We experience those error codes. That's the same thing they say, oh, you got an error code? We're not liable. We experience the loss or deletion of bills. Oh, you lost your bill? We're not liable. Service going down. We're not liable. We told you. You got to accept it as is. Whether you get error coded, we're not responsible. We're not responsible to have the servers up. 2K saying we do this out of the kindness of our hearts. Yeah, all right. So we start pulling them dollars back, and then what? All right, my G's. Soul said, all I know is new GTA will be the new hotness when it comes out. because I'm opting out of 2K. In the meantime, I'll be playing random games. Salute to you, man. Salute to everybody who's taking a stand. Uh, hopefully, the 2K community is better after just being made aware of the terms of service. Hopefully, I don't think any of us want to read terms of service for a video game. I don't think that's absolutely necessary. But your experience with 2K oftentimes make you think, like, hold on, what are my rights? Some of the things that you lose, the virtual items that you pay for, or how much things cost on 2K, they force you to think this way because it's predatory, it's aggressive. So they kind of force us to take a step back. That's why it was so easy for this video that I posted yesterday to spread through the Twitter or X community like wildfire, because folks weren't aware. And, a lot of us, when we were made aware, it was like, yo, I went through that. And they telling me they're not liable. You done told all your cousins and all your friends, best friends, I'm a sue 2K. Meanwhile, it's already an agreement. Nah, bro, you can't sue us. You can't even do nothing. Matter of fact, I'm taking your account because you don't own that either. Crazy stuff, man. All right, man. On that note, he said my skin looks much more clearer since I stopped playing 2K with a podcast. On that note, y'all, we are pushing 2 hours. I'm finna hop off. I'm not sure. I might live stream a different gameplay today, so stay tuned. If not, I'll catch you guys either on the next video or live stream. Easy, y'all.